Hi, I'm Stefan from Appfire, and I'm going to show you how you can migrate your Jira Server or data center instance together with the Dataplane Reports app to Jira Cloud. Now you might think, hang on, there is no Dataplane Report app in the cloud. Kind of, you're right. We actually have been thinking to rebuild the app in a new cloud version. But then when we have been looking at it, we realized at Appfire we have another app which provides already many of its features, which is Dashboard Hub Pro. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to improve Dashboard Hub Pro and add many of the cool features from Dataplane Reports. So I will show you how you can move with your reports from Dataplane Reports from your Jira Server data center installation to Jira Cloud. Let's have a look. Obviously, this is my test environment, so not all data is fully real, but it should give you an idea how the whole process works. We have here a Jira software instance, a server instance, installed locally on my machine. And then on cloud, I have basically an empty instance where I have already installed Dashboard Hub. To migrate to the cloud, you go to System Preferences, and then down there, you're scrolling down to Migrate to Cloud, under Import Export, and you will come to this screen. It's quite a challenge to migrate this thing to the cloud for everybody, for Atlassian, for the apps, and so on. So there are a couple of steps involved to make sure you end up with as good as possible in the cloud. Things are not exactly the same in the cloud. There are always some kind of glitches. You will have to do some kind of post-processing to modify, tweak things a bit again to bring them back in shape. However, we have done as much as we could to automate the process to make it easier for you. First, you have to assess your apps. So in this instance, we have just installed Dataplane Reports. We marked that we need it in the cloud. You see here, you have links to the documentation from Appfire. You see which feature already exists in the cloud. We're still building. We don't have yet everything from Dataplane Report. We're still building Dashboard Hub Pro. It has actually already many other cool features you're going to like, I'm sure. And then here you have the guideline how you can migrate to the cloud. Okay. So far, so good. Continue preparing. This is about the permissions you have to give us to move your data to the cloud. Obviously, we have to touch it and move it over. But this whole process over the network to move, that's secured by Atlassian. Atlassian is actually providing the infrastructure to move this data in a secure way to the cloud. So let's have a look at the policy. Okay, we need to touch a few things. I'm good with that. Let's move on. Things are getting quite complicated when your user accounts, which might already exist on the cloud, have different email addresses and so on. Let's put that aside for now. We're just focusing on the Dataplane Report app. So Atlassian even recommends to do this in a separate first step. Let's jump into it and do the migration. I obviously have to click through this dialog because they're going to create user accounts on the cloud for everything which you have already, all the users you have already on your server data center instance. Trusted, I'm good with that. Okay, now we're ready. You see the steps already outlined. So first we have to connect to a cloud instance. Demo migration is the name of our migration here. We're still doing this kind of test. We highly recommend you do it first to some test instance on the cloud. Get a free instance, 30-day trial, whatever, and do a test and then assess everything, how it is working. Initially, this will be empty. There is a dialog which will redirect you to your Cloud Atlassian account, so you can pick which Jira instance you want to have as the target system. I picked this one, obviously another testing instance of mine, and let's see the next thing. This is interesting. There are two ways you can migrate here. You can either migrate everything in one go from your server to your cloud instance, packaging everything up, moving it over, and arriving there with everything. In practice, sometimes this is not feasible. Sometimes the Jira instance is so big, you want to go one by one. Okay, first team blue, then team red, then team green. This weekend this team, next weekend that team, and so on. So you can do it in an iterative process and migrate, for example, project by project or whatever. Atlassian recommends this way because it's more flexible. From a technical point of view, I would recommend, if you can, to migrate all at once. It makes it easier for the app. We get all the references needed for the configurations again to adjust things in the cloud, which is harder if you do it that way. We keep the attachments and let's go to the next step. Let's get rid of these things. So, pre-migration checks. There are quite a lot of things which have to be aligned correctly that you can successfully migrate to the cloud. And most of these checks are from Atlassian. They're checking if you have the right versions installed here on your server instance, if you have the licenses, everything, if your firewall is not blocking your server to move data to the cloud, checking users again. I have a warning here because I already have this cloud instance which has already groups like Jira users, Jira software users, Jira core users, so there is a potential conflict, but it's just a warning. We're moving on. These are all checks from Atlassian. And then down here, this is from us. This is from any kind of app, and among them here, it's Dataplane Reports. So let's have a look at vendor checks. You see here. So we have two checks implemented here. One is basically we generate a report where we're listing all the different types of Dataplane reports you have currently configured. You see, in my instance, I have things like current issue assignee, current issue status, and so on. You might have different setup. Some of them we already support in the cloud. We can migrate easily. Others, we're not quite there yet. But we want you to check you before. Under this URL, you see the list what we already support. And here, to make it convenient for you, we provide you a list of what's currently installed in your Jira instance. And you see, you're going to get here a list for each report type or report template, however you call it, how many actual reports you have configured. So we recommend you take this, go to this documentation page from Appfire and make sure the critical reports we can provide in the cloud, and for the other ones which do not exist, you're going to find another solution. Then another thing you check is invalid references. I mean, over the time, your Jira admin is configuring custom fields, which later on getting deleted. Some projects, once they're done, they get deleted and so on. Chances are in the configurations of your Dataplane reports. So things like here, you have references to things in your Jira instance which already have been deleted. So we would like you to check that before and make sure you can fix as much as possible. Let's have a look at that one. Okay, so you see it's sorted by user, so you can give to each user who is able to change only their own reports, and then which report is affected, direct link, and what might be an invalid reference. So you see here things like deleted project, deleted custom field, and so on. This one has quite a lot. Let's take that one and have a look. This is direct link to the report. You can go there and fix it. And you see here is the same thing. For example, project 10,200. It has been deleted. It's not going to work like that anymore, which is corresponding to this one. So we recommend you check this, you fix this as good as you can, you clean up your configuration, and once you're good, you move on here. You will not be able to get completely rid of these reports availability in cloud because we mean it as a warning and you have to check here manually. If you're good, you just move on. So you click continue and you move on, continue without resolving warnings, as long as you're confident about it. So how are we doing? Okay. Now we can start the migration. You ready? Let's start. Okay, we have it's now running. We have here the button, view details, to see the progress of the migration. And this is our current migration running. Okay, it's going, some already there, it's moving over, but usually these things take a bit of while. And maybe good moment to grab a cup of coffee. I'll be back soon. See you later. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Looks good, green, success, complete. Pretty good. And down here is Dataplane Reports. Incomplete. It's quite common, you're going to end up like this one. Only in the most simple cases we are able to make 100% perfect job. Usually there will be something in the configuration which we cannot support yet, some report type not existing in the cloud, things like that, which you should afterwards have a look and make sure you tweak everything that it's going to be right for you again. But we provide you a post-migration report where we give you all the details. The text used to be here, just in the latest version from Atlassian, they have moved it to these logs. So let's have a look, and that's the latest message from our migration. And then you find this link here to the post-migration report. Let's take that one. And you can also directly in your cloud instance move to the post-migration report from the Manage Apps Dashboard Hub section to the post-migration report. Okay, we see here our demo migration, which we run around this time. It took only 12 seconds, much faster than the rest from Atlassian and stuff. And we see quite many reports we could save in the cloud, and a few have been skipped. Lucky no errors. But there are some warnings down here, which you really should observe, and also explanations why things got skipped. For example, permission work a bit different with Dashboard Hub than with Dataplane Reports. So we have to restrict any shared report is only going to be visible for the owner once it is migrated to the cloud. And later on, it's up to you to decide if you're going to open it up again, invite other people to see it or not. Also, these things we have been looking before with these invalid references, broken custom fields. We cannot fix this magically in the cloud. If you haven't fixed it on the server, things won't work in the cloud. You have to look into your configurations. Also, the skipped ones, for example, if some report type is not implemented in the cloud, not in Dashboard Hub, we cannot create it. Or if a user on your server instance has been deleted, but some leftover Dataplane reports, we're not going to create them again. Nobody is going to be able to access them. But it looks pretty good. So now let's have a look how the whole thing looks in the app. If we go to Dashboard Hub. Okay, this is our segmented issues signing report, which looked like this on Dataplane server. With summary text, and then here the report. Things are slightly different, not exactly in the same order, the color might be a bit different, but you get the same information again. If you have a look at this one, that was the testing from before, I mean this one, you see the summary here, and then you have for the different assignee, this is the admin user, this is unassigned, and you got the same segments of your chart. So pretty much you have now in the cloud what you had before with Dataplane Reports on server, now in the cloud with Dashboard Hub Pro. And we recommend you test your migration first on a test instance before you go to production. Check the documentation if you struggle in any places. Don't hesitate to contact our support. We are here to help. And yeah, then I would say see you in the cloud. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.